Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, words to my brethren in Japan. Shout out to Japan. Speaking of Japan, when we speak about Japanese fighters, um, one of the very first name that comes to my mind is that amazing 115-pound fighter, Naoya, the monster Inoue. He had a fight this week. He had fought a guy by the name of Ricardo Rodriguez, 16-3, pressure fighter. Um, Obviously, it's a certain level of opposition for Inoue, but when you look at the performance, and I would highly recommend, it's on YouTube. Go check it out. Inoue versus Rodriguez. Um, this guy's getting better. This guy's getting better with time. Inoue. This is a guy that a year ago, probably around last August, September. I was really talking about this guy as if Roman Gonzalez beat this guy, that Roman Gonzalez is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, a top 50 fighter in boxing history. And that was before he started showing me some of these dimensions and some of these new wrinkles in the skill set that he's been showing me. Like, you guys watch his last fight, he's throwing his jab with a lot more confidence. He's on balance at every punch, just about every punch he throws. And then you look at him, his right hand is never in a bad position. It's always there to catch any punches his opponent throws at him. And that's why when you look at this fight with Carter Rodriguez, he was not – you'd be hard-pressed to find 10 punches that landed, because even the punches that were thrown when this guy would throw his flurries, he was catching them with his elbows, catching them with his hands. And he wasn't really getting hit that much. So defensively, very sound, very responsible fighter. Then you look at what he's doing, as far as his jab, throwing it from the right spot every time. Never throwing it from too far, never throwing it from too close, just always in the right range. And then one thing that I've never seen from him in any of the fights that I've watched. I've watched maybe 4 or 5 of his fights. He switched southpaw. He did his little Terrence Crawford impression. He switched southpaw, and he started and it wasn't like Terrence Crawford, actually. It was different because Terrence will switch and he'll stay in that stance for a round or 2 rounds, maybe the rest of the fight. But he would literally he would throw 1 or 2 punches, switch back, and there was a round, I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd round, where he literally he switched from orthodox to southpaw, back to orthodox, back to southpaw like 5 times in like a minute. And it was really impressive to watch him do that with such fluidity, and then throw his punches correctly, and then have the majority of them land. So what I'm saying is this: Naoya Inoue, he's becoming a lot harder to beat. To be honest with you, if you would have asked me back in September, before Roman Gonzalez was fighting Quadras, and I was talking about this fight even back then in September, Inoue versus Roman Gonzalez, because to me, that was, and as far as I'm concerned, that still is one of the dream super fights at 115. And if you would have asked me, Brennan, who would you pick in a fight between Roman Gonzalez and Inoue, I would have said Roman Gonzalez, because Roman had just beaten 45 Quadras. He had beat up on McWilliams Arroyo, won pretty much every round convincingly. Fought Quadras, struggled a little bit towards the latter part of the fight, but still got the win and controlled a lot of the rounds. Then he fights this last guy, and I don't know, seeing these 2 fights from Roman has made me think twice, maybe that he has capped out at 115. That not necessarily from a skill standpoint, but from a strength standpoint. Maybe he just can't compete. He can't compete like he did at 108 and 112 with those other guys. Does that mean he still can't beat the top guys in the division? Absolutely not. If Roman fought Estrada or Quadras again, and even this Wrong Viasi, I think he beats all of them. But if there's one guy that I'd probably have a hard time picking Roman Gonzalez against based on what I've seen, it's Inoue, man. Inoue is getting better, and he's young, and he's not one of these guys that's just, bigger than Roman. He's not only bigger, but he's equally as skilled, and he's getting better with every fight. And this is a guy that is not to be messed with. And if Roman Gonzalez beats this version of Inoue, I'm telling you, beating him last year would have put him in the top 50. But beating him this year, if somehow that fight happens, whether it's this year or the following, no doubt top 50 fighter. No doubt top 50 fighter, because look, what I saw this fight, and like I said, you need to go watch it. This guy that he fought was a pressure fighter. So that's the style that Roman Gonzalez fights. He's a pressure fighter, an offensive fighter, with good head movement, and he can slip punches even though he doesn't get enough credit for his defense. But still, when you look at the type of style he was dealing with and how he went about dealing with it, he just it was masterful. And it wasn't so much that he was just coming forward and throwing his jab. The way he got the knockout in the third round was off the back foot, going backwards. And how many fighters do we see in boxing? They can fight going forward. They could fight maybe laterally, but they can't fight going backwards. There's very few fighters that can fight at a high level going backwards. And the ones that can, more often than not, if you can fight at a high level going backwards and forwards, you are an A-level fighter. And Inoue has shown the ability to not just fight going forward, but to land check hooks going backwards and knocking your opponents out. It just shows you that this guy is getting better with every fight. And, Inoue to me has been very impressive because this is a guy that did not have a long amateur career. He didn't have 500 amateur fights. He's not Lomachenko. He's not Rigan Diao. We're talking about a guy here who had maybe 9 to 10 fights or 15 amateur fights. He was never really he didn't have a lot of amateur fights. So the fact that he's so decorated this early in his career, such a great fighter, and so technically sound without such an amateur background, I think it really shows his testament, to his hard work in the gym, because you don't get that good starting boxing as late as he did with as little of amateur pedigree as he did, without putting that work in the gym. And a lot of it too is just natural talent. Some guys come pick up the gloves and they're just phenoms. They're monsters, just like his name would insinuate. He's a monster, and I cannot wait for the day that we finally hear that he's coming to the States, because he can really fight his ass off. And I would really advise you guys, if you're not familiar with these smaller weight classes, this is one of the guys you need to check out, Naoya the Monster Inoue. As far as I'm concerned, Roman Gonzalez to me still doesn't have a loss. I don't think he lost to Juan Viasi. I thought he beat his ass after the knockdown. But his record says that he has a loss. So the way I see it, I don't think Cuadras can beat Roman Gonzalez. Estrada has a chance, but I think he may have lost a little bit with the hand injuries. We got to see how he looks in his next couple fights, but he has a very, very small chance of beating Roman Gonzalez because he can't back him up for long enough to beat him. Inoue is really the only guy in the weight class that I can see giving Roman Gonzalez a tough, being able to back Roman Gonzalez up for a prolonged period of time because of his jab, because his punches are sharp, because they have power behind them, and because he's a bigger man. So it's not just about size, and it's not just about it's everything, man. It's his size, it's his skill, it's the youth. He just has a lot of the ingredients to be Roman Gonzalez. And from what I saw this last fight, he showed me the ability to fight going backwards a little bit. So that really did impress me. But let me know what you guys think. Naoya Inoue scores a third round TKO over Ricardo Rodriguez, getting better and better every fight. Is he someone that you look at maybe as the best fighter in the weight class? Because people are already calling him the best fighter at 115 already. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.